Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. I hope I'm more or less streaming on the right channel. I think I am. So good, there we are. Okay, good. Just checking to make sure, because I sometimes screw these things up. Hi, I'm Corey Olson. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth, and I am here, as always, with my hobbit friend Grifflet, who is, very studious, I see, Grifflet. Yes, if we could interrupt you for a second here, Grifflet, I know you're availing yourself of Elrond's libraries, which I have to say, although Elrond's library is gorgeous and, multi-level, and doubtless the books here are extremely valuable. Well, okay, I was about to say one can't help but be disappointed that there aren't a larger quantity of books. That is, like, these bookcases are comparatively few. Like, not even all of these nooks have bookcases in them, and they're sort of comparatively small, right? So you'd think Elrond's library would have more books, right? But then again, that's probably a silly thing to think. That's probably a post-printing press perspective, right? We have to remember that all of these books in Elrond's library will be in manuscript, which actually makes me wonder why so many of them are codices, right? These are all, they're codex, that is books with spines, right? As opposed to scrolls. Does he have any scroll niches? No? Elrond's library is like a codex-only place, right? That Elrond half-elven, he's ahead of the curve, right? Okay. But anyway, sorry, I was supposed to be talking to Elrond. But thanks, Grifflet, for looking around the library with me. I know you've been studious here this week. There's the great landing table. Hey, Elrond. So, what do we do about Lyrdan?
Brings you hither.
Right. Yeah, we gotta, because Lyrdan went south because he's going to return the ring because he got totally bamboozled by his now evil daughter. What's her name? Oh, Amarthiel, I know, but what's the... begins with an M. Darn it. Why am I forgetting his daughter's name? Anyway, it'll come to me. But cool. Yeah, so he's going to return the ring thinking he's going to cure her, and that's all awful. So we've got to head this off, and he sent us off on like an 8-month journey around Middle-earth or more to distract us, which was relatively effective. So let's see if we can catch up with him. Okay, sorrowful and dreadful news. You understand how Lyrdan was broken. The evils of Angmar are truly great if they can turn a father's love for his daughter into a terrible weapon. Narmaleth, thank you. Hologro, I appreciate that. Narmaleth. Okay, yeah, and Erocheb too as well. That's great. But so this forebodes a greater evil still. Well, yeah, like Amarthiel getting a ring back.
Fate brings you hither.
Well, no stranger than brought me hither 5 minutes ago. I dread what is to come. Lyrdan's journal brings me great distress. Yeah, me too, though the session play Elrond was awesome. Wasn't that awesome? Right? That was super cool. I fear the deceptions of Amarthiel will bring Lyrdan to a terrible end. Will I hear you? Of course I'll hear you, Elrond. I'm here for you. Ooh, another session play. Oh, this is fantastic. We get to play Lyrdan. An account of Lyrdan's journey to the ruined ring forges of Eregion. This is fantastic. I just love... Session plays are like my favorite thing. I just absolutely love session plays. Okay. What do we have? All right. Come on now.
Lyrdan's delusion is complete. Once Narquil is restored, he will give it to a...
Whoa. Once Narquil is, he'll give it to Amarthiel. Right, okay. All right. Okay, I am Lyrdan. What can I do? Anything cool? I don't know if I'm going to need you. Weighted arrow. Okay, I slow them down with an arrow. All right. What does this do? What does this do? Eldar's Kiss. Ooh. Wow. That's a stirring metaphor. So, rapid firing of arrows is like the kiss of the Eldar? Seriously? Wow. Okay. Okay, dagger throw, right? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Eldar arrowhead. Okay, all right. Archer's strike. Good. Okay, so Lyrdan into the... Okay, I got a day's foes. I'm going to put that one up here. What does this one do? I forgot already. Elven enemy. Okay. It's the prerequisite for Archer Strike, is it? Okay, fine. And what's this one do? What do we got? Eldar's Slash. Well, that's kind of lame, but all right. And then this one is the Eldar's Cut. Right, well, okay. And this one is Blood of the Eldar. Even as the elves fade into the west, there is still great power in the elven bloodline. Restores morale. Okay. All right. Cool. I'm ready. Apparently from range, especially. Oh no! My daughter is calling me. Where am I? I'm in Eregion. So, is this a flashback or a meanwhile in Eregion kind of deal? Is this... I wish I could ask these Dunlendings. What year is it? Or, if it wouldn't sound too strange, what age is it? Is this the second age Dunlendings, or is it the third age? I don't really know. But let's see. Bam, let's just start shooting people. How about that? Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna start attacking folks, because I have got lots of morale. Oh, but apparently... I can shoot with my arrows from point blank range. Ooh! Oh, so okay, so I can do... Alright, fine. Boy, Myrdin, you really stink in melee. Yeah. There we go. Okay. All right, Dunlendings, would you line up already? So I just wanted to ask you what age it is, right? I mean, that doesn't seem like too much to... You couldn't help me with that? Because I don't really know. I mean, I guess if the Dunlendings are here, you could argue that... Okay. I guess I'll figure it out. Because like that, the sound of my daughter's voice crying out, "Father," right, suggests that he's being snookered by a Marthiel again, right? Like he did in my last session play, when we saw it from the other side. Oh, I love that, how the Dunlending hunter can't figure out whether to run away or not. Okay. All right, well that was interesting. So, Blood of the Eldar. Yeah, all right. Oh, good. You're gonna just sit here and fight me from range. That's good. Did I just set her on fire? How did I set her on fire? I don't remember a setting her on fire skill. Oh, it's the Eldar arrowhead? That sets her on fire? Wow. Okay. Cool. That's got to be uncomfortable. Yeah, looks uncomfortable. So what am I doing? I'm finding Narmaleth? Do I have to go through all these people? Can I just go around? Hey, Narmaleth. Okay, well... Oh, not that way, apparently. Where's Narmaleth? My daughter is missing, and there's Dunlendings all over the place. Father, I am cured. Will you not come to me? So this is Third Age. So this is my... so Elrond is telling me what is happening, or what might be happening, or... I don't understand. Okay. Alright, well, let's see. Is she up here? Where are we? Alright, down in Mirabelle, near the river. Okay. Ah, there's the bridge. Is that where I want to be going? Is she up here in Mirabelle? Look at that. See the lovely, delicate arch bridge there? And all this stuff was really just decorative, not structural. All fancy. Is she down there? Can I go upstairs? Can I go into Mirabelle itself up here? Into Echad Mirabelle? No? Gate through which I can pass. Okay, wait. And just where do I think I'm going? I'm looking for Narmaleth. Yes. So I'm so confused. I really should have paid closer attention to the context of this session play. Because again, I thought I was hearing the story from long ago, which is kind of Elrond's specialty, right? Elrond's specialty is old stories. Yeah, okay. But so this seems to be now. But if this is now, is Narmaleth, or I mean Amarthio, at the head of a group of some of these are half orcs, right? That's what I'm fighting right now. White Hand Scouts. Why am I I thought Amarthio was allied with Angmar. Why am I fighting Saruman's people? I don't understand. Unless it has no relation? You know, unless it's... Can I just say there is a whole lot of melee combat for a guy who's much better at range? That's alright, no problem. No problem. I can still set you on fire. So that's fun. Okay, so I'm fighting off hordes of half-orcs and Saruman's troops, and now, okay, now here's the captain. I want to get out of here. Okay, so once I finish... Wow, that guy is seriously ugly. After I finish fighting this balding half-orc zombie, then can I find Amarthio? I mean, excuse me, Narmaleth? And what is she doing down here? I don't even get it. Come on, Lyrdon, you can do it. You don't have enough power left to set him on fire, but that's okay. Alright. Phew. Okay. Well, there was a boss up here, so that suggests we're on the right path. Narmaleth, are you in the tower? No? Alright, do I have to keep going upstairs? I'll keep going upstairs and see if you're here. Ah. Boy, that's just touching, Narmaleth. So this is all an act for Lyrdon, presumably. Yeah, this is clearly not Second Age. Obviously, this stuff is way too ruined. So this is... Aha, there she is. You've found your daughter. Oh, yes. Why do I not come? Oops. Your Normaleth is gone. A phantom devised for your ensnarement. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Will you not give up the burden that you bear? So be it. My men will recover Narcuil from you. Oh, dear. Whoa. Okay, see, Angmarim. That's more what I expected. Okay. So now, presumably, I fight these guys until they overwhelm me, which they eventually will. Now, right? So this is Lyrdon making a brave, but ultimately futile stand. I'm thinking... I seem to remember my Guardian held out for quite... No, that's right, because I'm here as Lyrdon, right? That's right. No, there was a different one that was like this that I'm thinking of. Okay, so you guys are gonna... How long is it gonna take you to overwhelm me? A really long time? Because I assume I can't win. Hey, is Narwhal still there? No. Come on! I'll take you all together. Boy. Okay, this session play, I have to say, is not nearly as cool as the other one. Hey, I'm kind of winning here. Is that meant to happen? Okay, no, okay, fine. Whew, all right. Well, all right, that was a little tedious. But that's okay. All right. So Lyrdon was overwhelmed and was deceived by Amarthia, which we already kind of knew, so that didn't actually bring us that far forward. But that was a fun little thought experiment, Elrond, to figure out what's going on, or to guess what's going on with Lyrdon and make explicit what we had already figured out from the last one, but okay. Right. And I was kind of confused. I thought we were doing history. Aren't we going to do history now, Elrond? Right? Is that what's next? I want to do history.
Hope is not in vain.
No, hope is not in vain, Elrond. To think of Lyrdon's fate grieves me. Well, why did you make me think about it for so long? But we can dwell upon it no longer. Okay, yes, you're right. We've dwelt upon it sufficiently. Greater still is the threat that Amarthia will become if Narcuil should fall into her grasp. I agree with you. Bracelets. What do we have? No, don't need that. Agility, vitality. Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah.
Will you lend me your aid once more?
I'd be happy to, Elrond. Once more and many times thereafter. I have little doubt of the enemy's intentions, though I do not know whether they will bear out. That is our one hope. What? Like whether she'll get the ring from him? She was just capturing him. There is much ring lore of Eregion remaining here in Rivendell, for I myself wrote it, and much has been brought here thanks to the efforts of many. Sadly, this lore reveals little that might tell us of Angmar's plans. Fortunately, my study of the lore has revealed one clue, a name. This name is Eglaimir, undoubtedly an elf who was a trusted friend of Celebrimbor. He may have insights that will aid you if he is still to be found in Middle-earth. He may be in Celondim. Many elves visit there before heading further south to the Grey Havens, right? Travel there, and if you find him, see what aid he can be to you in your quest. All right, Eglaimir, who was a friend of Celebrimbor. That's pretty cool. Okay, I have to decline going to Hobnanigans and to the Farmer's Fair again in order to... Okay, all right. So let's go to Celondim. I don't think Griffith's ever been to Celondim, actually. Been to Arid Luin a couple times, but only to go to Thorin's Gate. So this will be fun. Okay, let's go to Celondim. Again, just like a quick jaunt over to somewhere hundreds of miles away. But we'll head over there and talk to, to talk to somebody who knew Celebrimbor, right? There's Luthien, right? Because we get Celebrimbor statues around here, right? I mean, he's one of the 3 elves who has statues. We get Celebrimbor and Gilgalad. And I think we can see that would be Gilgalad with the spear, right? That's Aeglos. And his many starred shield, right? But don't we get, isn't Celebrimbor outside too? Get him with his hammer and his, like, Celebrimbor at the forge. Am I making that up? That's a thing, right? We actually get that? Okay. Whoa. What happened there? Oh, it's Rivendell lag. Hooray. Okay, there's Celebrimbor again. Now I want to find the statue to make sure I'm not crazy. There's the Luthien said. That's the one. That's him, right? That's Celebrimbor? Yeah, that's the one. With his forge hammer and what I think is a ring, right? This is me forging the top secret rings of power, right? So we have a statue commemorating the top secret forging of the rings of power that nobody's supposed to know about. That's good. We can't really see what he's holding anyway, so... Alright, let's go to Celondim. Meanwhile, as we go to Celondim, let's answer some lore questions. So I saw that there was one question that Jetlag had earlier today on a pronunciation question. Yes, okay, great. So I was pointing out that he's taking an Old English class and learned that the correct pronunciation of Mitchell, M-I-C-E-L, in Anglo-Saxon would have been Mitch, like the C becomes soft in the middle of the word when it's in the medial position. Yes, it does. But I was saying that Mickle Delving in the Shire should be pronounced Mickle. Yes, that's because it's not in Anglo-Saxon anymore. The pronunciation changes over time. So the Mickle is still a word that you see in, I mean, it's an actual English place name part. You can see that in a bunch of different places in England. You can actually find that on English maps. And it's in England, it's pronounced Mickle. That's the 180-degree turn with the Rivendell lag. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, so it is pronounced Mickle, but it's from the Anglo-Saxon, so it's derived from Anglo-Saxon. Tolkien loved those things. He loved place names and personal names and figuring out where they came from and what the elements in them mean. And I mean, this was like, this was definitely like recreation for philologists. In fact, if you know, if you've ever read, because he wrote an entire story, which was in large part inspired by place names on a map. And I'm thinking, of course, of Farmer Giles of Ham. There's the city of Tem, Thame, and Farmer Giles of Ham gives this long explanation for how where that name come from, is the land of Tame. Let's see, where am I going? I want to go to Breland. Anyway, and Worming Hall and all the, these names come out over the course of the thing, but originally it's just him looking at a map and coming up with sort of explanations for where the different names came from. But anyway, so Mickle is from is an English place name part, and it comes from the Anglo-Saxon Mitchell. But yeah, the pronunciation shifted there. Even in Middle English, the word Mickle is used as just, it's the same word. I mean, it means Mickle means like what do you need? Great, much, strong, and really big, and the word Mickle is used, actually it comes to be spelled with a CK actually in some places eventually. So it's a phrase you can still see in, especially used in deliberately archaic later English, like Renaissance English and stuff. You can see, like he struck him with mickle might and that kind of thing. they're deliberately using a word which they know to be archaic and is not in common usage at the time. But anyway, so that's why in the Hobbit place name it would be Mickledelving, but it is derived from the Anglo-Saxon term. So, all right, here is Grifflet's first trip to Celondim, and I have to say you have a lovely stable here. I mean, you have super skinny horses. My goodness, what do you have to like? Do you have to put like axle grease on the side of that horse to get him in that door? Yikes! But apart from that, lovely stable. Yeah, maybe they house llamas here instead of horses. That would be kind of awesome, actually. You know, you got the rams for the dwarves. Wait, oh, there. Oh, there's Eglaimir. But hang on a second. Look, can I look around a little bit for a second? Let's look around. Very prominent harbor here, of course. This being a prominent feature, apparently. Is not the Grey Havens, but this, you know, we're told that elves tarry here on their way out. So, if we look at the map, if we look at the big map here, these are the Blue Mountains, right? So we're on the edge of the Blue Mountains. Let's go out. Let's go out further. Can we do that? Okay, right. So see, here are the Blue Mountains, and this is Lindon over here. Lindon is the place which is all that's left of Beleriand, right, which was drowned. So all the First Age stories from the Silmarillion took place up here. This used to be Osiriand, and then up towards Doriath, where Thingol and Melian ruled, and Luthien was born. That's all up in that direction, but it was all drowned at the end in the War of Wrath, when the world cracked in the War of Wrath, because it was, you know, super wrathful. Okay, so Lindon, this was the realm. This is where Gilgalad ruled over here. So where we are in Ered Luin, where Celondim is, this is right here, right? See, down by the river. As we can see here, here the River Lune coming down. So you can see the River Lune that comes down into the Gulf of Lune. And these are the Blue Mountains. So we're still on this side of the Blue Mountains, the dwarves being up in the Blue Mountains here. We know that's where Thorin's halls were. So there is, in fact, an entire region. So if you wonder, like, where are the Grey Havens? The Grey Havens are over here, not down there. So you can get there from the Shire. But you have to go down here through the hills. So these aren't, so, you know, make sure there's no confusion. These are not, in fact, the havens themselves. Oh, no, you're not the elf I'm looking for. But from here we can sail down the river. Is that an elven ship down there? It looks like an elven shipwreck, actually, but I assume it's not. What's that? Is that just sitting as like a piece of tower? That's a river ruin? Is there... Ah! Yeah! Look, it's the top of that tower just fell off right into the river. That's embarrassing. Okay. Oh, see, that's a lovely tower. Not like a lighthouse, just a tower looking out down the river. Oh, that really must be great. I love the little railings here, right? Nice guardrails, right, for child safety, right? The children can't put their heads through, you know, the little elvish children can't put their heads through the railing. That's good. That's an important safety feature. Good to see they've baby-proofed Celondim. That's nice. Yes, but much emphasis on the keys here. Okay, let's see. Let's go find. And there's a cat. Lovely. One day you will be carried over the waves in the white ship. That's true. All right. Hey, Eglaimir, you were friends with Celebrimbor. That is so cool. Are you going to tell me the story? Do I get to do a session play? Do I get to do a Celebrimbor session play? How awesome would that be, right? Hey, I'm trying to get in front of you. Can I get your attention here?
What do you need?
Yeah, knowledge of ringcraft. Well, I mean, I don't want to make them myself, don't get me wrong. And the long-ruined forges of Mirabel. I would turn you away if not for the fact that Master Elrond had sent me. Yeah, I'm not prying into how to make a ring of power or anything. I just want to know, what do I want to know? About Narquil, about Amarthiel, about what's going on with Lyrdon and how much trouble we're in now that Amarthiel's got the ring back. Anyway, I appreciate your aid. That's good. Of the ring lore of Eregion, I will speak little. It is dangerous knowledge learned from the Dark Lord and should not be explained further. Okay. That's fine. However, I will tell you this. In the days of Eregion, our Lord Celebrimbor gave to an elf friend, a man of Bree-land, one of his shaping tools. Really? I would expect that this tool was buried with him, as is the custom of men. Surely you may find someone in Breetown who might know the location of the barrow where the shaping tool lies. Wow. Perhaps someone at their town hall, or a patron of the inn there, or even a member of their watch. Huh. Okay. So, a shaping tool of Celebrimbor. I was not expecting that, Eglamir, but that's kind of interesting. So, Celebrimbor there was an elf friend from Bree. Now, we know that Bree is very ancient, and of course, you will all remember the very close architectural survey that we took of Bree at the time. I'll never forget that. That was the first and last time my 8-year-old son ever watched one of my streams. And he's like, you talked about walls for like 2 hours. But anyway, that's fine. That's fine. So we studied Bree and we saw how old it is. We know that Bree's been there forever, so it's not impossible that a man of Bree could have been. He certainly would have been around during the time of the wars of Celebrimbor. And again, if we think about let's look at not just Breetown, not just Bree-land. Yes, back to the Eriador map. So Bree-land here, of course, Bree has always been at this crossroads. Now the crossroads here primarily date from the time of the Kingdom of Arnor, right? It was the Númenóreans who built these roads. So it would be pre-roads, right? So the Greenway wouldn't be there yet, but Bree-land would be. And where's Eregion? Down over here, right? So, how did a guy? I want to know the story of this dude from Bree-land who became the. Discover somebody who has knowledge of the Barrow Downs. Okay. All right. Well, if you need to know something in Breetown, where do you go? Right? I mean, clearly. Remember when Frodo was seeking information about his book, right? Who is at the head of the list of people that the hobbits of Bree told Frodo that he could ask questions of? Old Barwoman here, right? In the Prancing Pony. He knows everything. So let's go see if Butterbur can help us. Help us figure out where the barrow of this ancient elf friend who received a shaping tool from Celebrimbor. I like to imagine this Bree-land elf friend who was like a Celebrimbor fanboy, right? And he like made a trip down to Eregion and was like, I'm your biggest fan. And Celebrimbor's like, keep this for yourself, right? Here's a little shaping tool, right? And he autographed it for him. Okay, yeah.
Oh, so much to do.
I know, Barwoman, it's hard. But you don't get thinner. Well, now, what is it you wanted again? Yeah, the Barrow Downs, right? That place has a bad name, if you don't mind me saying, and I would stay away from there. But if you're determined to know more about them, you should ask Newbold Leafcutter up at the Scholar's Stair Archive. All right? I can do that, Barwoman. Thanks for the directions. We'll head out to the Scholar's Stair Archive. I'm reasonably confident I remember where that is. Though I haven't really been around Breetown much in quite a while. Right, because it's right down there. So I want to go right down and take a right. That's what I thought. Okay. All right, making sure. Don't get lost in Bree, because that would be embarrassing. Right, down to the boars. By the way, I really like the whole boar as the symbol of Breetown thing. That just seems to me... I really like that little piece of color that Turbine added to Breetown culture. I think that's cool. All right, there we are. Okay. Newbold Leafcutter. Okay, let's see. Are you the fishing guy?
Greetings, friend.
Hey, yeah. More adventure in the Barrow Downs. Yeah, I've been there before. I am a Barrow Downs veteran. The shaping tool of Celebrimbor and Mynadar the craftsman. I know the story well. The tool will not be easy to find if it even still exists. It was buried with Mynadar in Howth Iarkith, which has become infested with wights of the vilest sort. Somehow I was guessing that. Howth Iarkith lies in the southern part of the Barrow Downs, and Mynadar's tomb is found beside it in the cradle of a larger mound of the barrow. Beware as you journey, the dead do not take kindly to visitors. Right. Okay. The southern part of the Barrow Downs, and Mynadar's tomb is found beside it in the cradle of a larger mound. Okay. No problem. Thanks, Newbold. Appreciate your help. Good. All right, I will do another. I'll do a lore question while I gallop, because I'm gonna have to gallop over to the Barrow Downs. Okay, now, actually, before I do that, I have a kind of a tentative announcement. You may remember that a couple months ago we were planning to have another session down at Turbine. The Turbine folks were inviting me and Mike Drought. Am I going the right way? Yes, I am. Okay, good. We're inviting me and Mike Drought down to the Turbine offices to do another podcast episode, another Q&A and discussion to sort of celebrate. It was originally to celebrate the Minas Tirith launch, which is just to sort of show you how long it's taken us all to get our acts together and figure out when we can meet. So, oh wait, no, I don't need to go in there now, do I? Okay. Anyway, so it sadly got postponed due to technical difficulties. There were some equipment problems they were having down there with their broadcasting equipment at Turbine, but they got it sorted. I've just learned this week. So we're looking at it. We've got a tentative date of September 15th that we're hoping to do. So that'll be really good. I'll keep you posted as that firms up. Okay, sorry. I just saw, Boromir, but spelled wrong. I didn't see that it was spelled wrong originally, and I'm like, is there an NPC Boromir standing outside Bree for some reason? I don't know. Anyway, okay. Yeah, so good. So just to let you know that's going to be happening. So as I invited you before, if you have any questions you would like to see me and Mike Drought. Mike Drought, of course, if you don't know who Mike is just one of the great Tolkien scholars in the world, really. He's an Anglo-Saxonist, wonderful Anglo-Saxonist. He has been a consultant with Turbine several times. He's helped them do a lot of their Anglo-Saxon stuff. If you have been in Meduseld, you will have seen the Anglo-Saxon text of the "Where's the Horse and the Rider" poem. That's there in the floor. Mike wrote that. He helped them with that in the game. So anyway, it's all good. So Mike he does play LOTRO. He's not been able to play much lately, but he's even busier than I am, so it's not shocking. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to getting the chance to talk to Mike and with Chris Pearson, of course, the chief lore master there at Turbine. So the three of us will talk about what they've been doing, what is going next, sort of our own experiences with things. So all right, here we are at the Dead Spire. Got to head to the South Barrow Downs. Anyway, so I wanted to make sure to, as sort of announce, it's not, don't take it to the bank or anything, but we're way closer than we've been before. So I'm excited for that to happen, and I'll keep you posted as we get closer. Now, lore question. Let's see. So Josh, Josh, I've been not answering this for a long time. You asked this a long time ago, and I haven't gotten a chance to get around to answering it yet, but I'm really glad that I didn't, because I have a much cooler answer now than I would have had if I had answered it. Where am I? Is this right? Oh yeah, no, I am over the top. I was expecting to keep going up. Okay, here we are in the Southern Barrow Downs. Okay. Good. Great. Anyway, okay, so here's the question. Does Tolkien provide an explanation for why the eagles suddenly turn up at the Battle of the Black Gate? Okay. There's a short answer. No. No, Tolkien doesn't provide an explanation of this exactly. Oops, I missed it. Hang on. I should probably pay attention to actually where I'm going. Just a moment. Blew right past it. Yes, I did. Okay. Let's head back up. We're looking for... It's in the saddle of the... So if this here is Imlat... What was it called? Oh, anyway. Is this the one? Tomb of Minadar. Here it is indeed. Okay. Cool. There we go. All right. Woohoo! Excellent. Okay. So, okay, so a question about the eagles. No, Tolkien never does explain where that comes from. Oh, really? These guys aren't even on level with me? That's a little surprising. Excuse me. Yeah, don't worry. Keep up the good work. I'm just going to blow through here, I guess. Looking. I'm in the right tomb, right? Okay. Kind of expected this to be harder, but that's okay. Yeah. You guys are just guarding away. Hey there, what are you guarding? Nothing? Yeah? Why are you standing in the sun? Isn't it kind of ironic, like there's a shaft of sunlight and you're standing right in the middle? Oh, I know. Sleepy, huh? Hard to stretch the old bones there. I love how the barrow whites yawn. That's good. That's good. Okay, right. Notice, of course, the curlicue patterns, which are the same as the Great Barrow, so we can see the clear evidence of the ancient culture. What's this? Ah. The Tomb of Minadar within the Tomb of Minadar. Right. Okay. Now this is where we're probably going to find some on-level things, right? Let's stealthify ourselves and let's... Okay. All right. We're sneaking down the stairs. This is exciting. Aha. Yeah. Barrow hounds. Barrow candles. All right. This is definitely the on-level portion. Huh. Okay, I found it. I found the tomb. But not the burial place. Oops. Oh, you saw me, huh? No problem. Okay, so eagles. All right. There's so I was just talking about this on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we finished looking at the Quintus Silmarillion as it was published in the Lost Road. So this is the Silmarillion. We looked at the end of the Silmarillion as it still exists. Oops, I'm about to die. I should probably pay more attention. Really, really should pay more attention. Yeah. Okay. I guess this is the danger of trying to answer lore questions while in combat with multiple things. Yikes. Whew. Okay. Yeah, this hound is like... I was, to admit, I was taking this hound for granted, but he is not a pushover, in fact. Darn it. Okay. All right. I'll try that again. I'll be more careful this time. Like, I'll eat food and all kinds of, like, all the things I'm supposed to do. All right. Oh, you're kidding me. I revive in the old forest? Oh, my goodness. Where on... By Tom Bombadil's house? That is the red circle I go to from there? I don't just start the instance over. I go all the way to Tom Bombadil. Hey, Tom Bombadil, I've not been to your house since they revised it. You've got bushes. Look at the bushes here. Yeah. Look at that. I've just got... Well, I get to tour Tom Bombadil's newly revised house. Have we added more around the... So is there more foliage here, Tom? Right? Have you guys been doing some gardening? Right? Beans on poles, naturally. That's good. Okay, well, some more flowers, I think. It's the shrubbery that I chiefly notice. Ooh, are those vines new? I don't remember those vines. Are those like Bombadilian tomato plants? Is that what that is? Well, Tom, it was a happy chance that that brought me here, because I've been here since the upgrade. Hey, Goldberry, you're wearing your nice green dress. That's great. You've got your water lilies, right? Ooh, did you guys get new crockery? I think you did. Did that used to be that really nice leafy green? Right? Really nice tureen set there. That's very good. Your vases? Those look new too. Oh yeah, your ceramics are greatly improved. Wow. Good stuff there, Goldberry. Thank you. Okay. Sorry. So, all right. Whew. Well, that was unexpected. I cannot believe how far back I have to go. I will be so much more careful the second time around. But at least I get an excuse to finish answering the war question. So, okay. Now I'll try to finish it before I get there. So, as I said, Lost Road. So I was finishing the Lost Road class in the Mythgard Academy, which, if you haven't, I know that like the history of Middle-earth is really super hardcore Tolkien geek stuff, and not everyone is equally enthusiastic about it. But it's really cool stuff. And if you haven't ever watched any of the Mythgard Academy classes, I hope you'll consider doing it. Taking the walk as we've been doing through like the history of the development of Tolkien's mythology and watching his world unfold is just amazing to do. And I have learned so much. It's been really, really fun. I've never systematically gone through that. I mean, I've read them and I've read around in them, but I've never really just gone through like cover to cover, volume by volume, carefully studying the whole history of Middle-earth series. So I've been just super excited to do this. Anyway, we just finished The Lost Road. In The Lost Road, in the latter part of the Quenta Silmarillion, so this is 1937, The Hobbit is just been published. He's trying to get the Silmarillion published, okay? So he's producing the version of the Silmarillion that he actually sends off to the publishers, okay? And in that version of the Silmarillion, he's got the story of Beren and Luthien. And as usual, when he's telling the story of Beren and Luthien, he gets all carried away. But here's the mind-blowing thing. Are you ready for the mind-blowing thing? All right. If you have read the Silmarillion, if you remember the story of Beren and Luthien, after they cut the Silmaril from Morgoth's crown, they come out. Luthien is all tuckered out, right? She just put Morgoth to sleep with her music, right? So she's pooped, and she's basically in collapse. And Karkaroth, the greatest wolf who ever lived, is there at the gates, and he's awake now. And Beren defies him and holds out his hand and with the Silmaril in it and defies him. And Karkaroth then bites his hand off and runs away. So there's Beren, bleeding out from his wrist, and there's Luthien all tuckered out, and so and there's Morgoth and everybody else awake and escaped and ready to come and destroy them all. So things look bad for Beren and Luthien when all of a sudden the Lord of the Eagles, who actually lives right near there, he lives up above Thangorodrim, so that's cool. He swoops down. And if you read the published Silmarillion, it's Thorondor himself, by himself, who swoops down and picks them up as they're like about to be killed right there. So now, if you just look at that by itself, that is already a close parallel to what happens at the end of the Return of the King, right? When Frodo and Sam, having just accomplished the thing that they accomplished, right? Having just finished, throwing the ring into the cracks of doom, and there's Frodo with his finger bitten off, right? Beren got his hand bitten off, Frodo gets his finger bitten off, and the treasure taken from him. So anyway, so they and then they're about to die, and then the eagles come and swoop and take them away, right? So we've got a very clear parallel between those two things. I'm going to pay attention to try not to get killed again just now. But when I finish this and when I'm traveling again, I'm going to finish this story because it's really, really cool. So remember that parallel between Beren and Luthien being taken up by the eagles and Frodo and Sam getting taken up by the eagles, right? And the last thing I will say, the thing that blew my mind because I'd either missed this or I'd not thought about or hadn't thought about it in a long time. But anyway, my mind was blown when I really parsed this, preparing for class on Wednesday. The eagles originally, in the original story, the eagles who pick up Frodo and Sam from the slopes of Mount Doom are the same eagles that pick up Beren and Luthien in the Silmarillion story. The exact same eagles performing the exact same duty. So it's not just a parallel. It's the same birds who do it both times. All right. I'll more on that later. In the meantime, let us try not to get killed. More consumables. Okay. One dog, one barrow candle, one other dog. Okay. Getting rid of the barrow candle here. Oh, okay, I've got a hound too. Boy, I might have to call in a posse here. These people are just... Yikes! 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 I think I might need a posse for this one. They're on level with me, but they are just ripping me up. I think perhaps this is... Right, use hide. Yeah, I really should have done that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine. Anybody who's in the area and wants to join me, I would. Here I go back to Tom Bombadil's house again. So I'm going to head back up to the Barrow Downs. If anyone's in the greater Barrow Down region, you can feel free to join me here. And meanwhile, it will take. I will. I'll go back to the eagles. Same eagles. Okay, so in the oldest version of the story of Beren and Luthien, in the Tale of Tinuviel in the Book of Lost Tales, it's just Thorondor, whose name was Thorndor at the time, who rescues them. In the Quenta Silmarillion version, in the version that Tolkien wrote in 1937, now mind, The Hobbit has just gone to publication, and he's about to sit down and start writing Chapter 1 of the Fellowship of the Ring. That's the timeline of this, okay? He adds 2 more eagles. So there's Thorondor and 2 of his vassals, Hlandraval, upon whose server I am playing right now, and originally the name was Gwaiwar, right? Gwaiwar, the eagle. In 1951, after he wrote The Lord of the Rings, right, he goes back and Tolkien goes back and edits that passage and changes the spelling of Gwaihir to Gwaihir, right? So it's Landroval and Gwaihir who are there in the Silmarillion story and who pick up Beren and Luthien and take them over to Doriath and save them, just like they do with Frodo and Sam. So you might ask, wait a second, why didn't that make the Silmarillion, right? Why is it only Landroval in the published Silmarillion? Well, funny story. And Christopher Tolkien admits this in the commentary. Christopher Tolkien screwed it up. He edited the Silmarillion, and the Silmarillion, Tolkien never completed a fully polished text. All of these different stories were in different states, and there are all these contradictory versions and things. It's super confusing, and what's his name? Christopher has done an amazing job. No critique of Christopher. He admitted himself that he screwed this up. But it was a mistake by Christopher that led to the omission, or to the removal of Landroval and Gwaihir from the Beren and Luthien story. And here's the sort of the tragic way that came about. So the Quenta Silmarillion version of Beren and Luthien, right? The story of Beren and Luthien, that is in fact the one that is used in the published Silmarillion. It's the last version. Tolkien never writes another version of the Beren and Luthien story after that. Okay, not a full version. So he here. Let me see. I think I've got some people rallying to come help me here, which would be awfully nice of them. Sorry. So I think I need to wait a second, guys. I think I've got my fellowship requests off. Yes, I do. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. Okay. So I've got. You can invite me now. I turned it back on. Okay. So Christopher Tolkien, right? The material in the Quenta Silmarillion version, the one in which Tolkien included Landroval and Gwaihir as the two eagles who take Beren and Luthien away, right? Okay, that version is the one that the published Silmarillion is based on. Christopher Tolkien makes the editorial decision to cut Gwaihir and Landroval, and the reason is he was confused at the time. He didn't really understand. He didn't really understand the chronology of those texts, because they're like 5 different texts, and he didn't really work it out until later what order they were written in and what the dates were. So at the time of the published Silmarillion, he was kind of confused about all that stuff, and he didn't realize that those things had been put in afterwards. So he cut Landroval and Gwaihir because he didn't want to create confusion. He was like, oh, people are going to, because he then later on went back and put Gwaihir and Landroval into the Return of the King, right? So if I add them into the Silmarillion, into the Beren and Luthien story, it's going to confuse everybody, right? But what he didn't realize, and what a fuller understanding of the textual situation has revealed to him again, is that was in fact Tolkien's intention. Right? The intention was that they were the same eagles. And so he was making a direct connection. So when Sam on the stairs of Cirith Ungol says, "Bless me, we're in the same tale still," right? He means it. They are literally in the same story. It's not just a parallel, right, between Frodo with his finger and Beren with his hand, and it's not just, but so when Frodo and Sam have that conversation about hi, Fairvenon, thank you very much. You're very kind. I know I won't die with you around. Fairvenon is the healer who always keeps all of us alive when we're doing Mythgard adventures and stuff. Anyway, so, and I think Moochie's coming too, right? That's great. So, okay. So he, so again, he had Tolkien had deliberately intended to make that connection, so that the links between the Beren and Luthien story and Frodo and Sam's story are all over the place, right? Keep in mind, remember that in the Baron story, remember that when he's going down to Doriath before he meets Luthien, right? When he's fleeing from Dorthonion and he comes south through Erev Gorgoroth and the horrible, so the mazes of fear and horror and terror, and he's attacked by these giant spiders. Shelob. That's Shelob's siblings, right? Shelob herself was probably there at the time. So Shelob herself might have met Baron if she survived that experience, apparently, right? So Shelob had met and possibly fought Baron. So Frodo and Sam's trip into Mordor, they fight the same spider that Baron fought, and they're rescued by the same eagles that rescued Baron and Luthien, right? So it's not just the the dismemberment parallel and all that, and the kind of the thinking of their adventure that that Sam does. It really is. They really are in the same tale still, right? Is that mind blowing or is that mind blowing, right? I mean, it's again, this is to me this has been the incredible fun of going through the History of Middle-earth series as we've been doing. Is, I mean, I love the Silmarillion. I've loved the Silmarillion for many years now. But of course, for many, many years of my for a big portion of my Silmarillion enjoying existence, I only thought of the Silmarillion as the published Silmarillion, and I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't know about, all these other things that were there. So anyway, it's been super fun. So that was my mind-blowing thing. So again, going back then to Josh's question, why do the eagles show up at the Black Gate? Well, that's one reason. Moochie's been upgraded to Erethin. Okay. All right, but yeah, we are we're really armed for bear now. That's right. Okay. That's one reason, is to make that connection, but there's another reason too, and this is another thing. I spent a lot of time talking about this on Wednesday, so all this is really fresh in my head. One of the really, really fun things about reading the Silmarillion stuff there in the Lost Road in particular, because again, the chronology, so the History of Middle-earth series goes through the chronology of Tolkien's life, all right, are we ready? Are those battle cries as we're prepared to set out? Okay. All right. Is Pharaohnos coming with us too? Okay. All right. All right, off we go. I think we're ready now. We're ready now? Okay, let's go. If I can find the door. No. 0 for 2 on finding the door. Good. Excellent. All right. Okay. I know right how to get there. No problems. Okay. So as I was saying, Lost Road, 1937. So the volume before, volume 4, The Shaping of Middle-earth, is the stuff that he was writing at the same time that he was writing The Hobbit, right? So that's the stuff like right around 1930 to 1933. Right there in that area. The Lost Road texts, that's where you get the birth of the Numenor story, or the first ever versions of the Numenor story. We get the origins of the Last Alliance and all that stuff. Okay, so that stuff you get in the Lost Road, but that's while after he's written The Hobbit, while he's proofing The Hobbit, and while it's getting set for publication. But then he's going in and he's preparing the Silmarillion for publication, and that's the really, really cool thing. But here's the deal. The Hobbit, it becomes much clearer when you read the Silmarillion stuff that he was writing at that time. The Hobbit is very clearly there's a firewall up in his imagination. He's using a lot of the material. When he writes The Hobbit, he's sort of imaginatively mining his Silmarillion stories, right? So that's why the Elven King of Mirkwood looks so much like Thingol of Doriath, right? The Elven King of the Woodland Elves, whose people are secretive and hiding in the depths of the woods, the Enchanted Woods, by the way, and his halls are these beautiful elaborate halls that are underground, whose magic gate is reached over a river. I mean, it's all exactly like Thingol of Doriath, right? But he's not Thingol of Doriath. He's not the same. What Tolkien is doing is not creating continuity between the Hobbit world and the world of the Silmarillion. Instead, what he's doing is just he's recycling. He's mining it for ideas, right? So he's taking these things, which is why the Arkenstone looks so much like a Silmaril, by the way, because he's doing the same thing. He's sort of taking, he's kind of recycling the Silmaril concept, and he's deploying it in this new fairy tale that he's writing, right? But that firewall is still up, and there's a lot of evidence that you can see in both directions. When you look at the Silmarillion stuff, the 1937 Quentus Silmarillion, and when you look at the Hobbit itself, you can make the argument from both sides that firewall is still up, and they're still totally separate imaginative worlds in his mind. But after 1937, it's when he starts to write the sequel. It's when we get it's when we start getting the Lord of the Rings that firewall starts to come down. Okay, so the eagles. Back to the eagles. In The Hobbit, the eagles are birds, right? They're not particularly kindly birds. There's nothing to suggest that they are the messengers of Manwë or anything like that, right? These are not the eagles of the Lords of the West that we're getting in The Hobbit. They're just large raptors, right? Who are potentially friendly, but not friendly by default, not noble, really. In The Lord of the Rings, they shift because those two worlds are starting to come together. He's taking the Hobbit eagles so that Gwaihir, the Wind Lord, is there's continuity between him and the Lord of the Eagles from The Hobbit. But now he's clearly being projected back into that Silmarillion context. That's one of the reasons I believe why Landroval and Gwaihir are getting put into the Silmarillion version, why he makes that decision to make Gwaihir the Wind Lord, that he has put into the Return of the King, why he goes back and makes sure to match up the names, right? So that Gwaihir himself would be in the Silmarillion, right? Because he's really connecting those worlds very closely together, which he hadn't done that before. So in a sense, this is to me the answer to the question, why do the eagles show up at the Black Gate, right? Because they would. Because it's just what eagles do. It's what eagles in the Silmarillion tradition do. Because remember that in particular, the eagles in the Silmarillion are always hanging around. They live up above Thangorodrim. They live above the mountains of Morgoth himself, right? So that they can keep an eye on the enemy. So an attack on the Black Gate, the eagles would know about that, right? They'd be watching that. And for them to come in and make a catastrophic entrance. But notice how in that moment, and that's an unusual moment in the Lord of the Rings, where we get an actual quotation from the Hobbit, right? As Pippin's consciousness is floating away, he hears somebody say the eagles are coming, and he thinks Bilbo, but no, that was his story, right? This overt reference to the fact that the Lord of the Rings story and the Hobbit story are overlapping at the same moment that the Silmarillion story and the Lord of the Rings are overlapping when Landroval and Gwaihir come in, right? So all three of those, so in that moment we can see all three of those stories coming together. You can see how through the Lord of the Rings, the world of the Hobbit, the world of the Silmarillion are all coming together and now finally unified into the one great Middle-earth conception that we know of. Really neat, huh? I mean, this is, I kept class going for irresponsibly long on Wednesday. We had class for like 3 hours until like 12:30 in the morning Eastern time because I got carried away. But anyway, it's really, really fun stuff. So again, if you've never read the History of Middle-earth series, if it has seemed too dry or intimidating with all Christopher's textual commentary and all that kind of thing, I really encourage you, go to the Mythgard, go to the Signum University YouTube channel, and we have playlists for all the different books that we've done, so you can go through Book of Lost Tales 1, 2, Lays of Beleriand, Shaping of Middle-earth, and now The Lost Road. Next, we're assuming the voters, our supporters, choose it, which I expect they will, we're going to do The Return of the Shadow, which is the beginning of the draft versions of the Lord of the Rings, so we can see how the Lord of the Rings itself emerges out of all this. So I really encourage that. Anyway, here we are. Thanks to my posse, I didn't have to fight anybody this time. And here's Minadar's crypt. So Right, we got the curly Q action, so we can sort of place him in the history of Breland, right? You see how this matches. So his tomb matches the walls around, which is a big deal, right? Because the tomb, remember those other tombs, which seemed to be Cardolan tombs, right? Because we got the Numenorian. It was the Cardolan tombs, which had the 6-pointed Numenorian star instead of the 7-pointed Numenorian star. That seems to have been a Cardolan thing, based on the iconography. And so in many other places within the Barrow Downs, we've seen Cardolan tombs in the midst of a more ancient burial ground. But this tomb is clearly of a piece, right? You can tell architecturally if you look at these old figures up here, right? These kind of sort of sarcophagus, like, sort of standing in this kind of sort of sarcophagus fashion, right? These, the design, their Kurokyu designs clearly match the carvings here, which shows Meinadar, as we know, as Eglamir told us, was a man of the Second Age, pre-Dunedain, right? So Cardolan is not here. Elendil and Isildur are not yet. They're only gleams in their ancestors' eyes right now. Here's Meinadar, Bree man of the Second Age, having his cute little square tomb. He was either really short or they chopped him up in pieces after he was dead, because I don't know how he fit in that coffin. But anyway, maybe they planted him vertically. But let's examine the barrow, see if the shaping tool is here. The tomb of Meinadar the Craftsman has recently been disturbed. Oh, no, who removed the relics? Are you kidding me? It's after all that, it's empty of relics. I did notice it was standing open, which is kind of not a good sign. I thought that just meant that something nasty was going to jump out of it. But no. I got to go back to Bree. Okay. All right, so we just retrace our steps then, I guess, is what we do. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. That was very kind of you to assemble from hither and yon in order to come in. And I was too busy talking about eagles. When you've got a roof leaking problem, which amounts to really quite a charming waterfall, you have some issues. Where's the water going? Why is this place not flooded? And where's it coming from? That's rather peculiar. And here's the fateful place where I kept dying. No problem. Were these fireplaces? No, these little doors. Somebody else buried inside there. Once again, it's the same thing, just like, what's it called? Delendot? That place at Angmar, right? It had these same dragon style, what looked like bronze doors. Looks like somebody just blew a hole in this wall. Look at the uneven brickwork around there. This looks like this was actually a solid wall and somebody just plowed through it. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Root systems breaking through. Boy, they really should maintain this more. What would Meinadar say? Okay. Back to Bree. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. If I could aim towards you, I would bow. Hang on. Here we go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, and back we head. Okay. So, all right, so I know that my long answer to that last lore question was no news to people who have been doing the Mythgard Academy class with me. So I'm sorry to make you sit through me lecturing on that again after I just lectured on that at such great length just 2 days ago. But again, I was really amused at the start of the broadcast to go back and look at the lore questions I hadn't answered yet that I kind of had in stock here, and to find that one, and I'm like, ooh, I've got so much to say about that right now. So anyway, really really, really fun stuff. Like, I just can't I can't recommend the Mythgard Academy more. It has been so much fun to do. We're doing this for 3 years now. We're just completing our 3rd year. And it's, for all the people who support Signum. So, if, everyone who has made donations to Signum University gets to vote on what books we cover. The one rule we have is that we can't do, hang on a second. Wait a second. Can I go? Yeah, I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this way. The rules, we can't do 2 books by the same author back to back. And of course, Tolkien is the primary author that has been restricted in that way, or by that policy. So since the beginning, for the last 3 years, we've been doing one Tolkien book and then a non-Tolkien book and then back to another Tolkien book. And it's been so much fun. Not only the... I have a completed quest for this guy?
What do you need?
Oh. Who knew? Okay. All right. All right, where's my safe fall thing? Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Yeehaw. Okay. Good. So, anyway, yeah, so we do one Tolkien book and then one non-Tolkien book. And the idea is just basically to kind of, people pick a book that they love, that they really want to kind of dig into and talk about. And we do a close reading of it. I spend, I don't think I've ever spent less than 6 weeks. We do a 1 2-hour class session once a week, Wednesday nights at 9:30 Eastern generally. And, so I do, somewhere of like 6 to 12 or 14 sessions. Sometimes we've done long books like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which was great because I'd never read that book before, but it got elected. So I read it and we studied it together. Loved that book. That was so much fun. Anyway, so we go through the book, sort of a block of chapters at a time and discuss it really carefully. We've done a bunch of books that have film adaptations that we've then also talked about, like when we did The Princess Bride, most notably, but also just recently when we did Dracula, I ended with 4 or 5 different Dracula versions versions that we talked about after we finished discussing the book. So anyway, that's been a lot of fun. Back to Bree lag. Okay. We got this. Excuse me, everybody. Sorry. Always a big crowd around the South Gate. So if you've not been doing the Mythgard Academy, I really encourage you. As soon as I finish class, generally, I post the recordings to YouTube. They're generally up within like a day at most. We also have different courses on iTunes U for all of our Mythgard Academy stuff. So you can get it on iTunes U. You can get it through our YouTube channel. We have the audio available on a podcast feed if you want to get the audio through a podcast feed. So it's just been great fun, both the Tolkien books and the non-Tolkien books. It's like my favorite way of doing things. I mean, those of you who have known me for a while know this is what I do, right? This is what I love, is to be to sit down and go through a book chapter by chapter, all the way through and do a careful reading and discussion of it. So Mythgard Academy has been just absolutely great fun. We're going to be doing our annual fundraising campaign soon. Oh, you're blaming the travelers from the south for being grave robbers.
A moment of your time, friend.
Okay, there's little else you can help me with. Oh dear. I should return to the elf who sent you. He may have more words of wisdom for you. That sounds sarcastic, I gotta tell you. Kellingdom is far off in the shadow of the Blue Mountains. You'll want to start off soon. Right. Hey, at least, look, oh my goodness, a guy who acknowledges that the place he's sending me is really, really far away. Oh dear. Okay, well, let's get back to Kellingdom and see what he has to say for himself. Now, can I get to Kellingdom from West Bree? Might want to head back to Southbury, because I know I can get there from there. Okay. Good. All right. Excellent. Okay. So anyhow, as I was saying, we're just about to do our 4th annual Signum University and Mythgard Institute fundraising campaign. That's going to start, as it has become traditional, we start that on Hobbit Day, on Bilbo and Frodo's birthday, the 23rd of September, and then we go through, the campaign lasts until Halloween. So from Hobbit Day to Halloween, so if you have enjoyed the stuff that we've put out in the course that we've done, I hope you'll consider supporting us, as we are a nonprofit who not quite completely, we have some other things too, our courses and our course tuition, but we really rely for our survival on the support of the people who enjoy all the stuff that we do and make possible. But again, one of the cool things that happens, one of the longest running and most awesome perks of donating to our campaign is that you get to become a voter. People who donate $100 or more get to be on the Council of the Wise, which gets to nominate the books and choose what's the sort of the slate of finalists that everybody votes on. And then all of the people who have donated at any level get to vote for which books we actually cover. So that's always a fun electoral process. There have been some books that have been really close a bunch of times. Neil Gaiman has never quite made it, but he's been close a whole bunch of times. Watership Down came in second like 3 times in a row before it finally won, and we did Watership Down last year. So one of my favorite books of all time. Okay, with that tool, Angmar shall have power it may do great harm. Wait, so with that carving tool, it may do great harm. Tragic news. If I had to guess, I would say that Angmar is trying to rekindle the forges of Mirabel and Eregion. Perhaps they plan to forge a new ring or repair an old one. Gosh, I think I know of an old ring they might want to repair. This seems perfectly plausible. It is of no matter, really. There is much harm to be done if Angmar succeeds. However, before they rekindle the forges, they will need to fix the great bellows. Right. That makes sense. The bellows were originally made of a fine elven leather that could withstand the test of time, but those are now rotted. Ha! Guess they didn't withstand the test of time quite well enough then. Angmar could, however, replace the elf leather with dragon hide. Oh dear. It's strong and durable. There is rumor that a dragon, lesser though he might be, once dwelt. Strong verb. Let's use strong verbs when we can, Eglamir. Maybe they liked weak verbs back in Eregion. I don't want to cast judgment, cast aspersions upon the verb forms of the elves of Eregion, but once dwelt in the frozen wastes of Forakel. Yeah, met him. He's a zombie now. So kind of good news and bad news there. Go to Suri Kaila and speak with their chieftain Iryana. He may know more. Or maybe it's a different dragon. Go to Forakel. Whereas you, Eglamir, don't even acknowledge the fact that you're sending me from... Where are you sending me from? Well, okay, I guess it's not that far from Ered Luin. It's not like you're sending me from Rivendell to Angmar to Forakel to the Shire to Ered Luin and back, right? Okay. All right, fine. Oops, wrong button. All right. However, I think that Griffith's going to have to leave it here this week. I've got to go. Looks like it's just about time for me to go pick up my children. So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget, be thinking about questions that you might be interested to hear. 3 big Tolkien geeks talking about down in the Turbine offices in a couple weeks. Me, Chris Pearson, and Mike Drought. If you have any questions, or whether they be sort of bigger Turbine issues or whether they be Tolkien lore questions, that would be it would be all of it would be equally fun. Don't forget about that. And thank you all for joining me here today, and I look forward. I think next week should still be as normal, so that's great. So I expect to see you guys next week, and thanks very much for joining me. Bye now.